Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're diving into a virtual ocean that's doing something, well, completely new. It's not just showing us cool-looking fish. It's actually creating what you could call virtual life. And in doing that, it's pretty much changing the rules for how digital worlds are built. So let's get into it.
So let's start with a big question. What if a virtual animal could actually think for itself? I'm not talking about a character that just follows a preset path or repeats the same loop over and over. I mean, what if a creature inside a game could watch you, react to you, and, make its own decisions? And no, this isn't some far-off sci-fi idea. It's the real concept behind a huge leap forward in both animation and AI. So this whole story really starts with one person, Dr. Llyr Cenydd. Now, he's a computer scientist, but his biggest inspiration actually came from a totally different field: biology, the natural sciences. He was just fascinated by where those two worlds, life and code, could meet. And this quote from him really says it all. He was torn. Should he study life as it already exists, or should he try to create it from scratch using code? In the end, he figured, why not do both at the same time? And his solution was this amazing app called Ocean Rift. Now, on the surface, it's a VR experience, right? It lets you swim around with dolphins, turtles, all sorts of marine life. But it is so much more than just a pretty simulation. It's really where his two passions came together. And this is where we get to the really mind-bending part of his work. See, Dr. Cenydd's goal wasn't just to make animals that looked real. I mean, animators have been doing that for decades, right? No, he wanted to create something he actually calls virtual life. Think about it like this. In traditional animation, artists study real animals so they can make their drawings look and move like the real thing. But in Ocean Rift, the animals don't have a script. The AI decides when to swim, when to flick its tail, when to blink. It's acting all on its own, reacting to you, the user, in real time. It's not just appearing lifelike. In a way, it is a form of virtual life. Now, it's important to remember, this is all happening in virtual reality, or VR. For anyone who's new to the term, it's basically a computer simulation that uses a headset to trick your brain into feeling like you're physically inside that digital world. And it's that feeling of really being there that makes this AI feel so incredibly real. But, creating something this revolutionary, well, it's never easy. It came with some huge challenges. The first, and maybe the trickiest one, was just programming the AI to behave in a way that felt believable. And one animal in particular turned out to be a massive puzzle. And that was the dolphin. You'd think maybe a great white shark or something would be harder, right? But nope. It was the social intelligence and the sheer curiosity of the dolphin that created this really unique problem for the AI. And here's why. Dolphins are super interactive. When you're in the app, they don't just swim by in the distance. They swim right up to you. This quote just captures that feeling perfectly. You feel like they're in your personal space. It's not some animation on a track. It's a social creature engaging with you, and that feeling had to be completely authentic. So this meant Dr. Cenydd had to translate all these complex social behaviors into code. Asking questions like, how friendly should the dolphin be? How often does it come up to you? How close does it get before it backs off? These aren't just simple on or off switches. Getting that delicate balance right was absolutely the key to making you believe you were with a real thinking animal, and not just a clever piece of code. Okay, so challenge number 1, cracked. The complex AI behavior is down. But now comes the second massive hurdle. How do you cram all of that brainpower onto a device that literally fits in your pocket? See, Ocean Rift wasn't built for some high-end gaming PC. It was designed for Samsung's Gear VR. And that's just a headset that uses a regular smartphone for its screen and all of its processing power. And to really get how big of a deal this is, think about it. On one hand, you've got these monster gaming PCs that cost thousands with powerful processors and big cooling fans. And on the other, you've got a smartphone with a tiny fraction of that power. And, this is the crucial part, no fan at all. And that little detail, no fan, that was everything. Because running a complex AI simulation like this generates a ton of heat. Without a fan to cool it down, the phone would just overheat and shut itself off in minutes. This forced him to optimize every single line of code to make the entire simulation ridiculously efficient. But here's the thing. By solving these two just monumental challenges, the behavior and the hardware, he didn't just end up with a cool app. He literally unlocked the door to a much, much bigger future for all virtual worlds.
And here's the really brilliant part. It's kind of backward, right? But by solving the hardest problem first, making this advanced AI run on a weak little smartphone, he accidentally created this super efficient foundation. And when you take that lean, optimized code back to a powerful PC, well, you can scale it up into something truly massive. So what's next on the roadmap? Well, it's pretty incredible. The process starts small, adding new habitats for bigger animals like whales. Then you take that hyper-optimized code and scale it up for more powerful computers. And suddenly, the simulation can handle not just a few fish, but tens of thousands of them, all swimming and behaving on their own. It's an absolutely amazing vision. And all of this leaves us with a huge, fascinating question, doesn't it? We started with an app about fish, but we've ended up talking about virtual life. As this tech gets better and our digital worlds get filled with these autonomous beings that think and react, how does that change our relationship with them? And maybe even more importantly, how does it change our connection to the real world they're all based on? It's a question we're all going to be exploring. Thanks for tuning in.